What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about two topics. The first one is burnout, and the second one is blind allegiance to methodologies. Okay, let's start with burnout. So I got a question on my channel. It was something along the lines of, hey, Evil Deer, I'm feeling burnt out doing my language study. What do you recommend I do? Okay, so realistically, you need to figure out why you're feeling burnt out. Now, if it's language related, it's probably due to the fact that you've set yourself an insane goal and you're struggling to hit it every day. And by struggling to hit it, you're basically sucking the life out of whatever you're trying to do with this language, and now you just don't want to do it anymore. Now, this could be you're doing too many Anki cards. Maybe at first you're like, oh, doing 100 new Anki cards a day is easy, and now you're like, oh my god, I got 1,000 reviews every day. What do I do? I'm losing like 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, okay, bro, that's going to happen when you go a little bit too crazy on the Anki cards, okay? In that case, you're just going to have to pull back and just do reviews for a while. Okay? Realistically, it's a simple thing to sort out when it comes to language. If you're doing 3 hours of input per day and you're sick and tired of seeing these stupid ass faces on the screen, just pull back to, 1.5 hours. If that still feels like too much, pull back to goddamn 5 minutes. Because at the end of the day, in order to actually learn a language, you just need to do something with it every day and eventually you will get there. There's no magic thing that's going to take you there. It's just time. Now, whether you can squish that time down into a small time frame, let's say do a lot of hours per day and therefore you make a good progress within a couple of years, or you do it over a much longer time frame, it's still just time at the end of the day. Now, the only thing I would say is don't stop doing your language, okay? You can pull it back to a tiny amount of time, let's say 5 minutes per day of learn a couple of new words or watch some input, some content in the language and get some input, as long as you do something with the language every day. Now, the reason being is because if you stop completely, you break the habit, and it's so easy to put it down for 1 day, a week. Next thing you know, 6 months later, you stopped completely. So it's better to just pull it back to a point where you're doing enough each day to keep reminding yourself that you should be doing something with the language. So if you're in a super stressful situation, you've got exams coming in and all this sort of shit, and you were originally doing 3 hours of input or 2 hours of freaking Anki and an hour of input or something like that, just pull back to a small amount, manage that. Feel good about getting that done every day. Deal with whatever these other problems are in your life. And then once you get back to that comfortable stage, you can just slowly tap it on top again, okay? It's really not that hard to manage burnout. It's just about managing expectations, realistically. And it's the same thing at work. People get burnt out at work because they get so much work loaded on top of them. Do you know how you deal with that? You got to manage both yours and your boss's expectations. And some people are like, you can't manage your boss's expectations. Bitch, you can. You just tell them I can't do that. What are they going to do? Fire your ass? If they're going to fire your ass, they're going to have to find someone else to do it, okay? I've had so many bosses before say, yeah, but we got no one else to do it. And you know what I say? Whose fucking problem's that, mate? It's realistically, okay? So burnout is just you taking on too much. Pull back, you'll be right. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is blind allegiance to methodologies. This is not going to be like a kidney shot to dreaming Spanish. This is true for most methodologies out there for learning a language. They all say they've got the best method. You got to follow us. I guarantee you, for example, if you go to the Refold website right now, they'll tell you that this is the best method to learn a language. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comment section below. Okay, so basically, you shouldn't be becoming blindly following methods, and not even just methods, but even YouTubers, okay? I've seen this before in my comment section where people are like, oh, why would I listen to this person? This person over here speaks freaking 9 languages, they've got certificates, blah, blah, blah. They tell me I got to do this, so this is what I got to do. Bro, there's a way to learn languages for everyone, okay? Some people just enjoy sitting there watching content and not having to think about the language every day. Some people like to be highly efficient, get down in the weeds, learn all the little itty-bitty rules and dig into it. And then some people like to just watch a video, pause it, look up every single goddamn word and create cards out of that shit. There's so many different ways to learn languages. Now, don't become blindly following anything in particular, okay? If you ever get to the stage where you're like, oh, am I allowed to do this? Then you probably are starting to follow the method too, blindly. Just, if you want to do that, do that. Who cares? The only time I would say you should ever realistically ask that question and care about the response is if you're testing a methodology. Your goal is to test a method as opposed to learn a language. Because remember, at the end of the day, what's your goal? Is it to learn a methodology or a language? learn the language. If it helps to do something else, that whatever method that got you into it or felt like it was giving you progress is no longer working, because that's another thing, guys. Sometimes you will feel great with a certain method and for a certain distance in the language, and then suddenly it won't feel good anymore. Okay? At that point, experiment, play around, and don't take anyone's like what they say on YouTube, no matter how experienced they seem, as gospel. If what they say doesn't work for you, then don't do it. Try something else. Go around and experiment. And that may mean you end up doing shit that I disagree with and I don't think is that great of an idea. But as long as you continue every day, then that's the best way to work, okay? Because realistically, as long as you continue, that's what gets you here. Yeah? Yeah? So we can summarize this now. These two things. Burnout is you're doing too much shit. Pull back. And don't adhere blindly to anything. Do whatever keeps you moving forward. Yeah? That's it. Cool. I think I've covered off those questions. I'll see you all in the next video. And if you're not there, that means you have not blindly listened to what I tell you at the end of my videos, and I will find you and I will stab you with a fork. A blunt fork. Maybe rusty. Actually, I don't think I can do that because that's against the Geneva Conventions of War and stuff. You know, that's actually a real thing. You're not allowed to stab people with a rusty bayonet. I had to learn that one. It has to be a clean bayonet.